You're not seriously gonna dance, are you?
Why? Why not?
Boy, come on. What is this great big scheme you play, muñeco?
It's not a scheme, Lorenzo, right? I wanted to see you, and you hated that we could never party together, so I'm here to party.
So you still think that's what this was all about? It wasn't about that.
All right, so do you want to guys introduce yourselves and state your name?
I'm Sergio Alvarado, writer and director.
I'm Andrew Zadra, and I was Randy.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Not good. Well, actually, it's so coincidence. My name is Renzo, and actually I was Lorenzo in the film.
Wasn't an accident.
Okay, so this was their world premiere, so I hope you guys enjoyed the film. Does anybody have any questions?
I was just gonna ask, it's kind of like incorrect, go find your ex, but what did you think of that moment, or representing that as part of the narrative?
I feel like a lot of people have gotten back together with an ex or tried to win an ex over. But I think the real inspiration is from my own experiences from close friends of mine of dating closet cases and being unsure of where that could actually go without anybody making really big changes in their life and the fear of making those changes, right? So that's kind of where it came from.
Hi, my question is for the Virgin. I was wondering, so I've heard that you're heterosexual or close enough to, and how did you then get into kind of that role and embodying that deep of a kind of sexualized gay?
Good question. Talk to Sergio about it.
By the way, you look great in that crop top. Have to say that too.
I guess just more or less being in that kind of an atmosphere. I don't know. I'm not a judgmental person or anything, man. Love is love. So for me, whether I'm straight, but if you love, it's the same across the board. I love everybody pretty much, There's some people, but obviously, you make a great boyfriend, so.
So this is for everyone. What was the casting process like?
Well, I'm a casting director by trade. I've been a casting director for 18 years, and this is kind of my first foray into producing and writing. We ran auditions for both roles. Renzo at the beginning, I didn't write him specifically to be Latino, I just knew he had to be BIPOC. And Randy needed to be white because it was, Randy's all about privilege and being good looking and rich and cis and straight passing, and I wanted kind of the opposite. So for the Renzo character, I don't remember what his original name was in the script, but we auditioned BIPOC actors of all backgrounds for that role. Then we did callbacks. We did a chemistry test between them over Zoom before. I have it still. So I have it recorded. Their little chemistry read and a rehearsal, and so we got full auditions for both roles. Yeah.
But what was it like doing that on stage?
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was gonna be that packed. It was a full Pride event, right?
1,200 people.
It was okay, so I walk up on stage and Gogo Dance. And he said to me, pretend like you've never done it before. And I was like, well, that's pretty easy. This guy, on the other hand, he made magic out there.
Well, no, I have experience performing, which is, you can call, like a Gogo Dance, but it's more perform. Actually, my background is as a dancer in a TV show for kids. When I was a teenager back home, in Peru, that is where I'm coming from. And then, I was kind of like a Mr. Rico, Al Convento Rico, for years. And And then, it's of course, passing the years, I had to let it go. But now, it's actually, I want to take a chance to tell you guys, no one asked, but I want to, we're imprudent, with the, this topic is, as an actor, was, for me, actually, in this case, was a stepping toe, because it's my first language, as you know, is Spanish. So, memorizing, absorbing the lines and the character, which is I'm gay for sure. You can tell now. In my costume, but it's that is a different person as me, and going to the role, and putting in scenes. For me, it was kind of like a shock. The first time I see myself, I say, "Fuck, that guy looked ripped." First of all, and then after that, see myself as being Lorenzo is a totally different, face of who is Renzo. So I hope you guys can catch that. Or now they can catch it. That's when I want to kind of step into between the conversation about the experience of being a Gogo dancer.
Go ahead.
I was curious how you came to the idea and the writing to use dance as a gateway to self-discovery and coming to acceptance of Randy's character.
Yeah, I feel like Randy, how he's in his 30s and hasn't really expressed himself in his sexual orientation, and for many of us, the nightlife is one of the only ways that we have to come together and have fun and feel safe. And really the reason it came about in a different way. When my producing partner and I were looking at ideas for a short to produce ourselves, we thought about a lot of shorts are two people talking, but what do we have access to make it more than that? And my best friend since I was a teenager, Francis, who's in the audience, who is the event producer for the Pitbull Party, he's been doing this for years, and I was like, what can I write that uses that incredible access to, he helped us get the Phoenix for free. We did not pay a location fee or anything to shoot at the Phoenix. And I was like, so what can I write? And I spent a lot of time in the green rooms with Gogo dancers being at his parties. And that was kind of like the inspiration. We knew we wouldn't be able to film any sound because we did film at an actual event, right? So I knew we had to go back and forth from the Gogo dancing scenes and then the scripted drama that we shot. All of that we shot in 6 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Yeah.
6 hours.
And so we knew I couldn't write anything that would happen during the Gogo dancing scenes, so that just had to be dance people. And it just kind of came from that the idea is, what can I write that's two people talking, but it takes place in this incredible access that I have to this huge events.
So when I watch movies, I also love to see deleted scenes. So was there anything that you got that was cut out of the movie or of the short that you made?
There was the only thing that we were going to shoot on the day that we didn't get to is Randy leaving the ring box for Renzo, and they were starting sound check, and we had to and the drag queens that were coming to dress and change for that night were on their way there. So I was like, we have to cut something. There was 2 things left to shoot, that and the scene where Renzo opens the seat, gets the ring box, and gets the tux. And I was like, we can cut the Randy thing. We cut that last scene with the ring. We did 1 take of it, and we shot at MOS, so no sound. Originally in the script, I was like, if we have time or we have a second day, the ending was slightly different with Randy going home, getting into bed, and his fiance's arm going around him with the ring showing. But that would have only been possible if we had a second day to shoot. We shot everything between 2:30 and 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time to do a location change or anything like that. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. We were supposed to have a very dreamy sequence in the last dance sequence where they look at each other and then everybody in the club disappears and it's just the 2 of them dancing by themselves. but we ended up cutting that idea before the shoot day. That's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much as written.
I have a macro question, because you brought up that you're straight, right?
Yeah.
And I just listened to a podcast yesterday with Sean Penn, and he said in the podcast that he would never be casted in the movie Milk. He would never be able to be casted in that film. So what's your feeling about that? Where like he's kind of saying that it's a great role, he got an Academy Award for it, but he like our nomination, he wouldn't be casted in that role. What's your feeling? Is it like what's the feeling for you as a casting director? And straight people playing, like, I don't really have a big opinion on that.
It's a constant conversation that we have, myself working in casting about, casting people who are legitimately queer for queer roles, but there's a lot of laws around that. I can't ask people in auditions if they're gay or if they're actually anything. Same thing with ethnicity casting, like when I need to cast somebody who's specifically Vietnamese and not just Asian, I can't legally ask somebody, are you Vietnamese? So it causes a lot of issues in terms of like what are, how practical it is to make things as authentic as possible. On this case, I know Renzo needed to be a queer actor. For Randy, we auditioned queer and straight. We've been talking about you being straight a lot today.
In case nobody knew, but.
And he just had the right charm and chemistry with Lorenzo, and yeah, he was ready to do the kiss and the jockstrap, and so we were good.
I just want to say, like, imagine casting a closet case with a wife at home. Like, how would you find that legitimate person to show up to your casting call? It would be impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ultimately theater, right? And any role is a role. It's a position we play, right? Anybody could ultimately play a role. Would it be better to have somebody who's gay to play a gay role? Yes. But I mean, it's ultimately a character, and if that person's somebody who embodies that, right, and plays respect to the role, I don't see why anybody should.
And literally everybody else on screen is gay. So all the actual Gogo dancers that were on stage and in the change room, my friend Francis who played himself in the opening scene, also gay, didn't know. And so I felt I was really comfortable with that. And I would just like to take a moment, if we're running out of time, to shout out to everybody who worked on the film who's here today. We've got Jonathan Perry, who wrote all the music, all of the music. Madeline Eddie, who sang the vocals. Jonathan Major did hair and makeup. And I'm not sure if anybody else showed up after I came in. Oh, Jeff Amala, who's the editor, who had to step up, but he was here earlier. And yeah, thank you to, I was looking at the credits of the other films, and we were 12 people who did, from onset to post, 12 people worked on this, so thank you to everybody.